Why do we fall? Bruce Wayne asked his dad, and his dad replied that we fall so that we can learn to pick ourselves up. This is from the Batman trilogy, and the Dark Knight series is very close to my heart. Today I am covering the video profile of India's 39th Grandmaster Ashwin Jayaram. Now, what is the connection between Ashwin Jayaram and the Dark Knight? Now, there was a particular period in Ashwin Jayaram's life where he took a long time to become a GM. The situation was such that at the age of 17, his rating was 2478 and he was very close to getting the GM title, but then it took him 8 more years to accomplish the GM title, to finally attain that title. So that part of his journey is very inspiring to me, and he did not give up and he kept playing events, and eventually he made it to the magical number. He touched 2500 and he became Grandmaster. Here I have 4 positions from his games, and I want you to choose the best moves in each of these cases. At the end I will show one more game. And now let me tell you about Ashwin Jayaram. So Ashwin Jayaram started chess quite early. His initial coaches were India's first international master Manuel Aaron and K. Ganeshan. And then he kept playing a lot of tournaments and then later trained under various coaches. He won the Asian Juniors twice and he's also got a silver medal in Asian Juniors. He has won many medals in the Commonwealth Championships, and by October 2007 he was 2478 and he was very close to the GM title. He made his first Grandmaster norm in SOT Open in 2007, and then he attained the GM norms by winning the Asian Juniors in 2008 and 9, and then he made another Grandmaster norm in Gold Sands event in 2013, and then finally he made another norm in Chicago Open in 2015. So the norms were coming, but the rating took a lot of time. So there were many moments in his life where he came very close towards 2500. He was in that range 2480 to 2500 range. He was there in that zone for a really long time and he came really close. But then eventually in 2015 he became a Grandmaster. In 2014, he moved to the US and started studying in Webster University. He got a scholarship there, and then he eventually got his degree in finance. And now he works in a corporate company called Wells Fargo. And last year, accepted my invitation to be on the Chessophile show. So I will leave the link to that episode in the description. Do give it a watch. It was a very nice episode. Also, Grandmaster Priyadarshi participated in that episode. Ashwin Jayaram's journey, there were many ups and downs, but he did not give up. I think that's a quality that we all can take. Even in my tough times, there is this particular scene from the Dark Knight Rises movie that I used to watch. So even before the event, or let's say before the round, I have watched that scene a lot of times. I also suggest you all to check that scene, really inspiring one. So that's the reason I decided to have the Dark Knight Rises theme in the thumbnail. Now let's go to the chessboard. I have all the positions set. Let's get started. So here is the first game. It's a Slav defense coming from Slav, and I'm going to the critical position after Rook d1. You can see that the king is on d6, and Ashwin sent us this game, so special thanks to him. And after Rook d1, it's black's turn, and what will you do as black? First, Ashwin plays knight c5, still keeping the king on the file, and fortunately for him, no matter where the knight moves, the black king is escaping. So if you move, let's say to b3, the king can come here, and after knight c5 there is queen check, and then the rook can join the party, and the position is close to equal. But after knight c5, his opponent Abhijit Gupta played queen to b5. This was the puzzle that I had given you initially. Black to play. The best move here is rook at c8, still keeping the king on d6 but protecting the knight with the rook so that the king can easily escape to e7 given a chance. So in this position, his opponent took away the e7 square and gave knight f5 double check, and there is only one move, which is king e5. Now this is one of the rarest positions I have seen where the king is in the center and it is safest on e5 square. So after king e5, knight d6 happened, and then after that he decided to give up his exchange because he has these 2 pawns and a very strong knight on c5. After queen e7, he gave the exchange, and then after queen b6, he played rook to a7, and after queen c6, he played queen to c7. And then with these few moves, he was able to keep the balance. More accurate in this position was bishop b7, but he went queen c7. This gave his opponent some chance, but eventually the game ended in a draw. After queen e5, rook d7, the game ended in a perpetual. Let me show you this moment. So here the game ended in a perpetual, but Ashwin Jayaram could have still tried. He could have played his king to f6, but in this game he decided to take a draw. The game ended in a draw, but it was still a fascinating picture. You see this position where the king is in the center on e5 and still pretty much safe. Let's go to the next position. This is his game against Rahman Zior from Bangladesh. I'm going to the critical position after e5. He puts his knight to h6 and then plays knight to f5 and then plays bishop to h6. Now this is very important. He is keeping an eye on the e3 square, which will eventually decide a lot of things in this game. After castles, his opponent went a little rash with g4. He got his knight to d4, and after gh5, he doesn't recapture because he wants the pawn to come forward and open more lines so that he can attack the white's king. So here he plays bishop to f4. This bishop on f4 looks really nice, and if you play knight e2 in this position to capture the bishop, black can play knight d5. And black is having a beautiful position in this game. So after bishop f5, knight e4, he played knight takes d5, and after hg6, he makes room for his rook on f8 with king g7, so that this rook on f8 can go to h8 and then take care of the h4 pawn and maybe even capture on h4 if necessary. After c3, he played knight to f5, queen b3, and as I mentioned earlier, the knight has made its way to e3, and after bishop h3, d5, knight takes c5, knight takes h4. This was the position I had given you as an exercise, and there are many ways to win in this position. Black has great position, so there are different ways, but the move chosen by Ashwin is one of the beautiful ways to finish the game. He played queen to c8, is offering his queen, and now the queen is attacking the bishop and the knight, if you look at it that way, but the bishop can actually capture it, and in this position his opponent resigned. So now I'll break the suspense and tell you why exactly queen c8 is a brilliant move, because the bishop is under attack. If the bishop moves to f1, it's just mate in 4 after knight f3 and rook h8, and if the bishop captures the queen, there is knight takes f3 check, king has to move, then there is rook h8 check, and then bishop has to come in between, and then the other bishop also comes in between, but that doesn't stop the checkmate. So that was again a very beautiful combination. Next, there was a game between Ashwin Jayaram and Tigran Petrosyan. So I'm coming to this position after queen to b4. This was again given to you as an exercise. White to play. White played a really nice move in this position. White played h into g5. Brilliant move. The queen on e4 is in the center of the board and it is hanging and is given it for free. So after hg5, black captured the queen, and then there is rook into h8. That's the whole point. And after rook h8, his opponent played bishop to f8, but if he had played king to e7, white would have taken the pawn and then picked up the rook. And if black takes the pawn on a4, white can prevent the check on a1 with knight c2, and the game goes on. But after rook into h8 in this position, his opponent played bishop to f8, and then here is the next beautiful move of this game. He plays rook to h4. The queen is in the middle of the board and has no squares. Can you believe this? What a beautiful image, isn't it? After rook h4, his opponent played knight d3 check just to make more space for his queen. And after rook takes d3, he moved his queen to e6. And now, Ashwin wants to play a rook e4. But he has no support, so he plays knight c3 to get that rook e4 idea working. But his opponent prevented it with f5. And then comes another brilliant move from this game. He plays knight to g4. And the point is, knight f6 is threatened, rook e3 is threatened. And here if black plays, let's say, a null move, then there's already game over. After knight f6, it's already game over. You see? So after knight g4, his opponent captured on g4, and then came rook e3, and he picked up the queen, and then eventually he gathered all the pawns. He captured the pawn on g4 and then won the game. So this required a lot of technique, and Ashwin continued and won the game. Next, I have his game against Homaset, and here he's just played rook e2. His opponent played knight d4, and after rook e4, knight takes f3, g takes f3. Black had to play rook f8 or g6. Now that gives you some clue as to what could be the white's best move after rook takes f3. So rook into f3 was a blunder, and here Ashwin came up with rook c1, first attacking the queen, and then after queen takes d5, the point is revealed. With rook c1, white is making sure that there is c8 square available, so he played e takes d6. The point is queen e4 or rook e4 both do not work because of the back rank problem. You can see that rook c8 is winning, and after e6, even rook takes e4, there is just rook c8. So after e6, his opponent played rook f8. But then Ashwin went ahead with rook e8, threatening rook takes f8 followed by mate. So his opponent played queen takes d6, supporting the rook, and then came another rook on the last rank with rook c8, and that was game over. Because now after rook f6, he just simply took and then played queen e8, and it's lost because of the back rank problem. Next, this game was not included in the exercise. I just wanted to show you because I really loved it. Black has just played c5, and I think this is a good question even for grandmasters. His move is really beautiful. I mean, more than the move, the thought behind the move is really beautiful. After c5, Ashwin Jayaram played king to h2. Now why is this brilliant? It's brilliant because after king h2 c6, white has a tactical shot. I'm going to give you a couple of moments to see what you would do as white. Okay, the point is that white has knight e4 in this position. If the queen moves, let's say, to a5, white can play queen g3, and let's say if the rook moves to e7, you can play knight check and then play queen d6, and it's crushing. White is better. If the rook moves here, then the knight will go to e8 and then play queen takes pawn. Like, white has many ways to win after that queen g3 move. So after knight e4, the main point is pawn takes knight. What happens after pawn takes knight? The point is that white gives this check on d8, and after king moves to g7, there is fe4, a killer threat with queen f8. And if black king goes to h6, there is queen check and then h4. And if the king goes to h5, there is g4 check, king h4, g5 check, and mate. So after knight e4, rook e4, there is fe4, and then he went on to win the game. After queen e5, queen g3, he picks up the bishop on a6 after rook e1 and queen b8. Now, I know that you're still wondering what was so special about king h2. Here the point is revealed. After c5, white cannot use the same idea, because after d takes e4, rook d8 check, king g7, if you play fa4, black has a way to defend the threat with queen a1 check and queen to f1, preventing the queen f8 idea. So by playing king h2, Ashwin used prophylaxis against the threat of queen a1, and now knight e4 works like magic. So those were the games sent to me by Ashwin Jayaram. So thank you, Ashwin, for sharing your brilliant games. I had great fun covering them, and we wish you a great year ahead. Fabulous birthday to you. And dear viewers, I hope you liked the video. I'll be back with another video soon. Until then, take care. Bye bye.